If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
everybody, and welcome to the third round of the Everything Simulated Formula 4 Recruitment Series here, supported by Player One Team Gear from Okayama. We've had a change of circuit with the incredible attendances we've been having this season. 38 attended last week at Summit Point, and due to fears that the Oulton Park pit lane might not even be big enough for the field we might see here tonight, we've switched over to the Japanese circuit, Okayama, for round 2 before our finale in Navarra next week. It's myself, Ian O'Leary, and Jared Cole on commentary for you tonight of this third round of the championship. And Jared, good to be back alongside you for this one. I mean, this series has been a brilliant success so far, with 38 appearing at Summit Point 1 week ago. The first round of the championship, we had 33 begin the race. It's been an incredible championship to go through September with.
Mid-season, mid-race season here in the Formula 4 Recruitment Series to move a venue based on space available. It's a pretty special thing. It's not something that comes along very often, even in the most popular of leagues. So great to see that we've already got, I think, 37 cars out on track at the moment, undertaking qualifying, and of course we'll go and check out that action in a moment. But what a turnout, and why wouldn't you? Formula 4 is a great fun, and Okayama a fantastic track to test them out.
Yeah, and it's been a fun season so far. You can imagine that this would be something similar, although maybe a little bit more twisted than a couple of the circuits that we've had so far at Virginia International Raceway and at Summit Point as well. Name escaped me for a moment. The championship standings, as you'd imagine after just 2 rounds of a 4-round series, are very, very close indeed. And after last week's race, where Jackson Rihanna took the victory, getting 5 places from his qualifying position in 6th, he is now up to 2nd, rocketed up to 2nd place, with Kane Ryder still leading the way. He took pole last week and is 2nd place to go along with his win at VIR. Daniel McCrowan is 3rd, 38 points back, with Brody McConkey 50 points back as well. We've got the full point system here in the FDL. It's not the sprint points, it's feature race points. So that means anyone within 100 at the end of tonight can be the champion. And at the moment, Jared, we've got 6 of them within 100. Might even be a little bit more than that by the end of the day. We will wait and see, but we're going to get a championship finale. I'm pretty confident of that. Although possible it gets sealed tonight, it's going to remain close between those top names we've already got.
Absolutely, no doubt. And, you know, ordinarily you'd say that, well, look, mathematically it's possible, but there's not going to be 100 points of difference between the 2 drivers at the end of a race when it comes down to that final round. With 37 drivers here, it actually becomes a real possibility, doesn't it? You know, some of those front runners, if there's only a 40-point gap in it, and you find yourself crashing out and finishing at the end of a 40-car field, then that 100 points difference does start to look very, very achievable for the rest of the drivers in and around the top end of the championship. It's going to be a close one to finish off next week, I'm sure.
Pete Seidler has just been cleared of any wrongdoing in the steward's room there, with no further action for him. And here is the qualifying session. Just 3 minutes to go, and it's Kane Ryder who's leading the way in this session at the moment. Daniel McCrowan is in 2nd, and they're both in this group at the moment. The Team Max Boost cars have always been working together. We saw it in the F4 series most predominantly throughout season 3 of 2025. We're seeing it again in the Formula 4 Recruitment Series as well. You know, it's very, very effective. Open qualifying sessions in the Formula Drivers League, which is really a benefit to them, I think. And you know, it's showing the importance of teammates. I think, you know, more than that, it's always seen in qualifying teammates be of real importance, but I think for this series especially, for the race actually, the teammates very, very important. And certainly if you're on Team Max Boost, you have the most of those, and that's what Kane Ryder has made the most use of this season.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And as usual, we see the Max Boost pace line out there and trying to set some great times across the whole team. But despite all of that, not surprising to see Edwards and Rahana up there. Both have been very, very quick in every aspect of open wheel racing we've seen them compete in so far here at FDL and elsewhere. The wildcard tonight, though, will be Joshua Lynn, currently sitting 7th in qualifying. This is the first time that we've actually seen him racing here with FDL, and that's not a bad way to make an appearance and to make an impression first time out, is it?
No, absolutely. It's a strong competitive field. I mean, we've got the top 35 covered by 2 seconds, which just gives you an idea of just how close this field really is. And now 38 entered, as Tony Baker seems to have appeared in the session in the last few moments to make it 38. See if we get any more, although there is only just over 1 minute to go until the end of this qualifying session. Bit of gravel on the outside of turn number 1 there, as brought onto the circuit, not least the gravel trap out there as well. 30 minutes of action here tonight. Should just go through some of the other talking points actually. Tonight, what's called in iRacing spotty rain is forecast for the final 8 minutes of the race-ish. Not sure really what that means. I guess it's just sort of light rain, intermittent rain, something like that. Tom just says, the league organisers, Tom Donahue, just saying that they're testing the timeline weather since there were so many issues last week. Issues being that we had 99% chance of rain at Road America and it never arrived in the Super Formula Series, Super Formula Night Series. So more tests going on with that. And there's no drop rounds in a 4-round series, so this is crucial for setting up the championship finales we've already talked about. But that's going to throw another spanner into the works, really, Jared. And the changes to the weather system will be fully tested out as well, with that rain coming towards the end of the race.
Yeah, and with the new season, of course, changing over, a few little tweaks here and there. Not much that should affect the Formula Fords, but the weather timeline is always a funny thing with iRacing. So hopefully we get the results that the league are hoping for as Craig Edwards finishes his qualifying run in style. I'm not sure if that was intentional or if it was a bit of a wheel disconnect there. Hard to fathom. But you know, when you don't have to pay for sim cars, they're a little bit cheaper to repair between qualifying and racing, aren't they?
They are just a little bit than the real life thing. This is the Max Boost train coming through the final corner at the moment. Has Kane Ryder or Daniel McCrowan improved at all here? I doubt they'll actually need to take the top 2 places here, but they might do it anyway as they cross the start-finish line now. No, 37.0 and a 36.6 is not quicker than what they've managed before. McCrowan got closest to the pole time, but he doesn't get quite close enough, as Chris Swadling also completes his lap time. As this session is just drawing to a close, and now tell you that Rhys Gardner has joined us for this race as well in the Everything Simulated Formula Ford Recruitment Series. Good evening, Rhys. Good to have you alongside me. Looking forward to the 3rd round of this series. A track change because it's been so popular, which I don't know if I've ever seen happen in a series ever before. It's been a wonderful series and very well attended as well. And this will set up our championship finale these next 30 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely, Will Ewan. Glad to be here once again, and just in time for the final moments of the qualifying session to be over and done with. So we'll be getting a grid very shortly, and it's going to be a big setup for that final round. Only a short series, this one, so you have to get maximum points wherever you can. You don't have an opportunity to lose out.
Absolutely. It's a big grid to go through, and we'll bring it when we can do. Only one driver didn't set a time down at the bottom. Tony Baker didn't get out enough in time to set a lap time. So we'll start 38th in the field. Didn't see any lane penalties come through while we were live there. So I'm going to guess that there are none. And everybody will start from the start finish line. Of course, the ruling on that has changed, so that is becoming more likely in this series. Let's have a look at the starting grid with Kane Ryder on the pole and Daniel McCrowan on the front. It's a Max Boost lockout with Craig Edwards and Jackson Rihanna on row 2. Henry Zimmerman is alongside Vaughan Ryder on row 3 with Brodie McConkie and Joshua Lynn. Better qualifying this time from McConkie. Michael Scott and Madeline McGee then round out the top 10. Further back, Daniel Ackland and Mitchell Albert will share road 6 ahead of Daniel Byrne and David Gallo. Scott Puckett and Scott Bartine, the Sub-Formula Lights champion from Season 2 in 2025, is 16th. Mark Healy, last season champion Sub-Formula Lights, 17th ahead of Alexi Watson. Peter Siedler is the last driver within a second of pole, with Angus Milne rounding out the top 20. 21st is Mitchell Campbell alongside Chris Swadling, with Tom Donahue, league organiser, alongside Hugh McLaughlin in row 12. Dan Bartush and Anthony Bate is then row 13, ahead of Shihung Lee and Marcus Kanitzka. It is Matt Tesorero and Ben Ryder who round out the top 30. Further down, 31st, Ash Williams, and Mark Keppel, Tristan McLaren, John O'Lilly, Jackie Chung, Dennis Hawkins, Jason Neal and Tony Baker to round out the 38 car field. It's taken me almost the whole of the gridding process to go through it. It's such a large field. But that's going to provide the action for us, and hopefully it's going to be a good race. I'm sure it will be a circuit that absolutely everybody will be familiar with.
Indeed, and fair play, Ewan. Jared and I had the same issue last week at Summit Point. So many drivers have shown up for the second and third rounds of this series, but it looks like we're going to be getting ready for that run down to turn 1 very shortly. A short run here at Okayama. It'll be crucial to get up the inside as soon as you can. Very easily defendable line, though, round the outside of turn 1. We're going to be seeing a lot of side-by-side here.
We certainly are. Let's get this action underway then. The second half of the Everything Simulated Formula 4 Recruitment Series here from Okayama gets underway. Half an hour of racing to come for these 38 drivers, tearing now down in towards turn number 1. Max Bush locking out the front row. We'll get off to a good start out front, with Jackson Rihanna moving up ahead of Craig Edwards in third place. That's the first change. Up inside the top 10, Daniel Ackland has also got himself into the top 10 as well off at the start, but not too many changes actually as they run through down towards the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, down to Atwood Corner. First big overtaking opportunity of the lap, and we're seeing Vaughan Ryder move up the inside of Brody McConkey there, but McConkey fighting back on the exit of the corner. Sometimes the outside line gives you the better exit, straightening up the car a little bit sooner than to the hairpin. This is going to be the major overtaking opportunity. And look at how they fan out here. Everyone's trying to find a bit of slipstream, but the Max Boost cars continue to hold on to the top 2 places.
They are very well holding on to the top 2 as well. Just helpful, I mentioned it a moment ago about having teammates in the race, not only qualifying where the Max Boost drivers were running in formation as they always do. It's very helpful in the race as well. Brianna wants to break that up, looks down the inside. That was pretty tight on the way towards turn 8. Didn't really think that move was on, to be honest, but he had a look down the inside, and clearly he sees the importance of breaking up the front 2.
Yeah, it's an important overtaking place there. The straight isn't particularly long, so you don't have much space to throw it up the inside. You kind of have to take it by surprise if you want to do something like that. But single file at the end of lap 1. Now the race will get into its rhythm, and we'll start seeing more moves being made. It looks like Ryder and McCrowan here have managed to keep Rihanna back very nicely. Lynn is trying to find his way past Vaughan Ryder, though, who's evidently not been able to keep up with Brody McConkey over the last couple of corners, so looks like a bit of a break starting to form.
Yeah, we always see this at the start of these races in the Formula 4s. It's the first break in the field, and there's the, you see it in white on the left-hand side. The first official break in the field. Daniel Byrne not quite as close to Dan Ackland as he should be in that 11th place. Byrne has made up 2 places though. It's not really his fault that this is broken up, as it's side by side for the lead. That Max Boost car's almost trying to block Rihanna, who's coming through the middle here, down in towards the hairpin. Goodness me, that was tight. And Rihanna through the middle tries to take the lead. McCrowan though is going to do it instead. It's Kane Ryder who loses out, now even fighting to keep third, and he does just about manage it, but goodness me, that was not ideal at all. And there was so close to contact. They just fit 3 wide, and Rihanna coming straight through the middle there down the back straight.
Yeah, and it's helped out Craig Edwards as well. He's managed to really get himself into the fight for the podium now. Look at him there behind Kane Ryder. He was trying to find a way through at the hairpin, but evidently momentum is king at Team Max Boost. They were able to hold those lines very nicely through that tight hairpin. Well, down to the final corner. It looks like a bit of understeer in the middle of the last corner there for Rihanna. That's going to bring him under more attack from Kane Rider. Meanwhile, looks like Zimmerman and McConkey are going side by side for fifth behind. Little bit of a look there from Kane, but nothing's going to happen for the moment. Now it's up to Rihanna to try and close the gap to McCrowan.
Yeah, it's only 3 attempts, but it will take a bit of closing as there's an incident further down. Mitchell Campbell and Chris Swadling are both off the circuit. I'm going to presume at turn 1, based on where they are on the circuit, and there they are picking themselves out of the gravel at turn 1 indeed. So we'll see if there is anything to have a look at down there. Tristan McLaren is quite a long way down in the field. Matt Tesorero is the only driver in pit lane at the moment as well, getting some repairs, so there's clearly been some goings on further down the field, but not too much. Actually, it's been a very clean start to the race as Rihanna looks to the outside. Oh, and was that contact maybe? Kane Rider holds firm and he gets second place. Craig Edwards moves straight up to third, and yeah, I just wonder whether there was contact down there into that hairpin.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of banging wheels there for Rihanna. Of course, these cars, it's like they have their wheels out on spindles. You've got to be so careful when racing side by side in these Formula Fords. Not very large wheels either, so if you end up banging them with someone, it can be catastrophic. So good on Rihanna to keep it going at the very least. Should have avoided too much damage. Maybe it was just a cautious move from Jackson. You know, it is still quite a bit of time left in this race. It is only 30 minutes, but especially if the top 2 go side by side like they're just doing, that'll give the chance back to Rihanna and Edwards, who's going to try and take that podium position from Craig Edwards. Up goes Rihanna into turn 1. Nice move. Edwards, I think, realizing that you know, the podium places are where the battle is at, and it's probably better for his race if he stays behind and takes advantage when he can. He doesn't want to get too involved right now.
These partly cloudy conditions have certainly clouded over now. It's very overcast indeed, and it does look like we're going to see rain of some form before the end of this race, although it's going to be very, very light and sort of intermittent before the end, so shouldn't be too much to worry about, as Gallo and Bartine now go off the road as well together. So more off-track moments further down as the leaders go side by side again, the Max Boost leaders. McCrowan to the inside of Ryder, and Rihanna trying to come through as well, but Kane Rider holds firm on the inside line there as well. Yeah, he will keep second place ahead of Jackson Rihanna and then Craig Edwards. Of these guys, by the way, the championship contenders are very much Ryder, Rihanna and McCrowan. We haven't seen too much of Edwards running up towards the front of the field here in terms of race results anyway yet this season. So he is going to be sort of wild card in this one. He's not really going to be involved in the championship fight itself. Only 37th after finishing 26th last week and not attending the first round of the championship. He won't be a feature at all, even if he wins tonight. So it's very much about the other 3. But there's more of them involved now. The front 9, you'd say, are probably involved in this again, as the leaders have battled and the guys behind have caught up.
Yeah, Lynn and Zimmerman trading spots there for 6th place, and everyone's involved in the fight now. Brodie McConkey is jetted up to the back there in 5th. Here's the next fight, headed up by Madeline McGee and Daniel Byrne. Got Mark Healy and Mitchell Albert right behind them. And side by side once more, the fight between Lynn and Zimmerman continues on. Marlborough on the inside there, but a little bit more speed being taken by the Max Boost car will draw that momentum onto the back straight, but there's no one to slipstream ahead of him.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. And Zimmerman will just get his nose in front down here as the teammates up ahead change their places. But Conky gets past Edwards. Whoa, that's all over the place from Zimmerman, down on the brakes. Goodness me, he's quite lucky he didn't spin actually. Good car control to keep it on the straight and narrow in the end. Lynn and Ryder both get through. Side by side meantime for second. And is this going to allow the leader away for good? As McCrowan defends on the outside line. There's Jackson Rihanna on the inside. Brodie McConkey looking for another place here as he steams down the inside as well. McCrowan gets clear and McConkey tries to follow. Inside line for the final couple of corners. and he will go through as well. Jackson Rihanna's attempted an overtake for second, has only ended up costing him third place.
Yeah, that's not ideal there for Jackson. He needs to try and build something here in the last 22 minutes of this race. That's how long we've got to go. But Rihanna's under attack again here from Craig Edwards. And Edwards is going to move back up into fourth place. Oh, inside lines still available for Jackson Rihanna. And that costs the both of them bulk time. They have lost it all to Brodie McConkey now. They're going to have to sort this out soon. Otherwise, they're going to fall back into the pursuing pack.
Yeah, exactly. And they've already sort of stretched out an arm to them, if you like. They've gotten that down to 6/10 of a second. I guess it's the same with the lead as well. We'll have a look at some replays here of some of the stuff that's been going on further down. This is Alexi Watson getting caught up down in the hairpins. One of the Max Boost cars that were also caught in that. Sort of not really their fault, but who would that have been? Maybe Ben Ryder, actually, who's down to 24th now, despite making up places so far today. And what else has been going on through the final couple of turns as well? Not entirely sure for the moment, but did see, I think it might have been a penalty actually for Tristan McLaren come through at some point recently, or maybe it was a no further action. We certainly got a notification about some form of action being taken on Tristan McLaren in the last couple of moments, because it popped up on the top of the screen. Of course, live stewarding in this series, and that helps us out quite a lot with working out penalties and so on, where everybody's going to be by the end of the race as well. It helps out greatly. There's a look down the inside from Edwards, I think, on Jackson Rihanna. This is a couple of moments ago, but Rihanna held that one off quite nicely. It's the most spaced out we've seen the front five, actually, all over half a second at a moment there. And yeah, that's notable, really, I think, compared to the first 10 minutes that we've seen.
Yeah, it looks like things have calmed down a little bit up the front of the field, at least. Also saw off-screen a big problem for Tom Donahue, our league organizer. He was involved in a fight coming into Revolver, the corner after the hairpin, and ultimately it was a bit of a three-car pile-up there in the midfield. But apart from that, I don't think we've seen too much in terms of big chaos in this field. But our field will continue on for the moment, and Kane Ryder is continuing his grand run of this race. It looks like he and McCrohan starting to break away from McConkey, Rihanna and company.
And don't forget that he's already got a bonus point for getting the pole position here tonight, so he's bound to go on further. I don't know if it's the same as you at home, but we've got, oh, here we go, we've got pictures back again. Just gone 11 minutes in this race. Pit stop starting to filter through in the background, by the way. I think only Tom Donahue, though, is made a real one in terms of schedule one that might be considered a strategy. All the others are quite long, so maybe that's the only one really so far. This is the second group. 10th place on back is pretty lively as well. They're even closer, actually. This is what the front group looked like earlier on, but there's a quick look down the inside, but this is what the second group is like now. 7 drivers involved in this one, and all fighting for that last spot inside the top 10.
This is a nice line here with McGee continuing in 12th place, but Byrne and Healy have both found their way past it, and now it looks like there's going to be a bit more between Angus Milne and Michael Scott at the back of that pack, keeping an eye on Mitchell Albert here in the 033. Albert, one of only a few cars in the field to still occupy the same position he started in. There's been gains and losses just about everywhere you look. If you're interested in a hard charger, throw in Scott Bartine. He is up 7 places at the moment, but side by side into the hairpin. Albert stuck on the inside here. It's a cambered corner, that hairpin, so the outside line is actually quite beneficial there. In a battle, there's a spin just ahead, and a massive smash, and Madeline McGee is one of the cars involved.
Goodness me, that was a big bit of contact as well. I'd be surprised if there's no suspension damage down there for the two involved, and there you go, McGee's got a meatball. Doesn't look like the suspension's actually too badly damaged, but this is going to have to become a part of a strategy now for Madeline McGee, just inside half distance here. at Okayama. Might as well just come in now, I think. Oh no, she'll carry on for at least another lap. But yeah, that's a meatball, unfortunately, and a notable incident as well. Ben Ryder also getting a meatball flag. What Heppel has as well. Whether those two meatballs are related. That's a big incident down at the hairpin. Meantime, while that was all going on, the leaders have been fracturing here, and the Max Boost cars are out front together. Now, these guys have got to work together, because otherwise they're going to see the race lead go up the road ahead of them.
Yeah, and we're coming up to the halfway point of the race as well. It's not a good sign for Rihanna, McConkey, Edwards and Lynn. Problem for Daniel Byrne and Mark Healy, meanwhile. That's happened off screen just now. Big problem indeed. And it looks like Healy at least losing many positions. Daniel Byrne down to 21st place, are coming together in Atwood there in the midst of that battle just outside the top 10. So everything looks like it's fracturing and falling apart at the moment, Ewan.
Yeah, Mark Healy. Is it Mark Healy? Yeah, Mark Healy's got a meatball as well. Peter Seidler, Bartos has got one. That's 5 in that row of 7 there. Goodness me. Sure what's been going on. It does seem, though, based on the incident that we saw, not too bad in terms of incidents so far in these first 15 minutes. But the slightest bit of contact, really, it's all relative. But it doesn't seem that you have to be very damaged at all to get a meatball. I mean, Bartusz has got a meatball there. I can't actually, if he didn't have a meatball, I don't think I would have noticed he's damaged at all, because it doesn't look that bad at all.
Yeah, agreed. Especially in these cars, sometimes the worst damage is the damage that you can't really see. If you were to get an onboard of a car or something like that, you might see the steering bent, and that might give you a clue as to what's happened. But these cars are notoriously fragile. If you hit the wheels basically full side on, hub-to-hub contact and stuff like that, they're pretty strong suspension on these cars, but any other kind of contact is a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely. Well, this is the battle for third again, and they've still been battling while the gap to the front has been growing, so we've got to do something to work out what's going to happen to those front two at the moment. Kane Ryder and Daniel McCrowan, who are 1-2 in this race and be 1-2 in this championship by the end of the day. Chris Swanley has got a 10-second time penalty for an insufficient overlap. I'm imagining that there'll be quite a lot of those penalties, or at least judgments coming through from race control, because it's a lively middle portion of this race actually in terms of incidents. As again, these three past the pit lane, 2.4 seconds. It's a big gap to try and close in just 14 minutes.
Yeah, Ryder and McCrowan working together really well. Rihanna has been unable to match their pace. They are some 5-6 tenths of a second faster than this lot. So that's opened up the opportunity for Edwards, who tries around the outside of turn 1 and nearly gets caught in that gravel that's been spilled onto the racetrack. Not much room on the ideal racing line around here. Slightly off camber at turn 2 as well, which means you get to the inside of someone and they often get the better run because they can flatten the car out a bit sooner. Well, for the moment, down to Atwood once more, and it looks like it's Brodie McConkey's turn to get involved in all of this. He's been building up to this for quite some time. Now he'll have the slipstream off Jackson Rihanna, and Craig Edwards is going to try and follow him. Looks like Joshua Lynn's going to have a go at it too.
Very close on the way down the hill here towards the hairpin again. They've almost given up here on the front two, and they are battling themselves. Rihanna inside line on McConkey, who stays there. Oh, was that contact again as well? That was close, if not. Craig Edwards just tucks in as well. Lynn is right involved in this group now as well, in a way that he hasn't been really so far tonight. Further down the field, you can see Zimmerman and Ryder getting past Dan Ackland in that second group. It's all happening at the moment, and the front two are benefiting from it all, getting away from the rest of the field. So the fight for third is going to be very important in terms of places, because Rihanna and McConkey, who are second and fourth in the championship, will need the points and need to limit the damage to Kane Ryder and Daniel McCrowan.
Yeah, finishing up as high as you can is the ideal way to go about any race, let alone this one. But Yeah, it's going to be tough with as much chaos as has gone on here, and now it's Brodie McConkey's turn to have a go around the outside of Rihanna at turn 1. This battle for third has been going off since the very start of the race, and I mean, there's no way these guys are able to match what Ryder and McCrowan up the front are doing. They're still lapping in the 136s. These guys, they can't do any better than a mid-37 right now.
Yeah, and you know that's only going to continue if they continue on like this, as Bartine has got a 5-second penalty for a loss of control. Lynn is looking free wide off the circuit almost. Thankfully he didn't do that. He's going to make it free wide on the circuit instead though. Are we going to be 4 wide? Is there space for this? There isn't space, and they don't do it. Into the hairpin they go. Rihanna and McConkey very close, wheel to wheel. He's still on the inside there, I think, McConkey, and he jams it down the inside. Wow. Outside for Rihanna, who's in a bit of danger here of losing a lot of places in one go. Oh, he's done well there though, on the outside of turn 7. Still there in time for 8, the hairpin. And if he stays there, he'll be on the inside for the next 3 turns, which surely should give him the place. He's still there, and so he will get third, I think, with the next 3 turns going his way. Inside line, it's a good run though from McConkey, who's going to get the run round the flat out. Penultimate turn, a little bit wide there though. He could have squeeze Rihanna a little bit more, and that half-lap battle finally comes to an end at the end of 20 minutes. This is the battle to be with at the moment. The battle for third is fierce.
It absolutely is. I mean, they're losing time hand over fist to the front too, but this is a defense masterclass from Jackson Rihanna at the moment. No matter what they throw at him, he has a response, which is amazing to see. But have a look, they now have a 5th battler joining them. Henry Zimmerman has managed to catch up to the back there. Daniel Ackland and Vaughan Ryder aren't too far behind either. I reckon if this continues, by the end of the race, we'll have something like a 7-car battle for third place. Rihanna having the advantage for the moment. Craig Edwards now has the box seat to try and get past him.
Absolutely. This group will continue to grow in size as well, because the gap's behind him not that large. Here comes Lynn down the inside of Brodie McConkey on the way down into the hairpin. McConkey breaks quite late there. He's squeezing Lynn. Oh, that's a very small gap there for a Formula 4, but he's just managed to squeeze it down there round the outside. It's a big slide. Oh, and off. Slightly off for Lynn. He did have the space, but he just went off the road. Row, it's a bit of a run now, and he's going to get the inside again in time for turn 8. And will he get the place? Well, I have a feeling it's going to be the same sort of endless fight that what we saw earlier with McConkey and Jackson Rihanna, who was out front. It's just relentless, this group. Zimmerman's now in here, Ackland as well in the slipstream, and you'd imagine it will only be a lap or so before Vaughan Ryder's joining in as well.
Yeah, I mean, the time that Vaughan Ryder's setting, I mean, his last lap was a 1:39, so he's probably taking it easy behind these guys, but now they're all losing time to him across the line. Well, for the first time in a while, Jackson Rihanna getting back into the 1:37s, but Vaughan Ryder only running 0.2 of a second slower than Rihanna on that last lap. He's in the slipstream range, and he can certainly get in on it. Tell you what, oh, there we go. There's the rain. You know what, Ewan? When they changed the virtual safety car rules coming into round 2, I was worried that the on-track product would suffer. I am very glad to be wrong, and now we got some moisture in the mix too.
Goodness me, that was very sudden, wasn't it? Just popping up on the screen to see the rain. Apparently it's only spotty rain, which I don't really know what that means, but I guess we're about to find out in the next 8 minutes or so. With these battles. The battle for third still ongoing. There's groups further down the field. 22nd this is between Ash Williams, Mitchell Campbell and Dennis Hawkins. Hawkins actually one of the biggest movers forward actually. That's 13 places now as it gets past Campbell. But meantime, Edwards and Rihanna continue their side-by-side battle into the final sector again, and McConkey doesn't make it 3 wide. Down into turn 8, and that's a relief to everybody. Inside line for Rihanna for turn 9. It's almost like a replay of a couple of laps ago. Oh, that was close. And again, there might have been contact. Still no stops for these guys, by the way. 7.5 minutes to go, and none of them have fought to get out of this. Down the inside, Rihanna gets ahead. A cutback from Edwards. This may never end before the end of this race, to be honest. 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, no fuel stop now in this series after the changes coming out of round one. Will they want to pit for wet tyres, though? I get the feeling that the rain is not heavy enough and the track's not going to get wet enough by the end of the race for wet tyres to be justified. They're just going to have to try and find the grip wherever they can. Oh man, the side-by-side here, it's happened corner after corner, and is it going to be 3 wide on the way into Atwood? It is. Brodie McConkey almost having a go at Rihanna on the inside there. Edwards slamming on the power, and he is going to occupy 3rd place for the moment. Looks like he has enough momentum to cut over Jackson Rihanna, but now the slipstream's coming in. Oh dear, how much space are they going to have? They're already throwing up some rooster tails.
Yeah, they are, and they don't seem to be pulling any punches, even with the wet weather sort of making an effect here. They don't seem to be backing off at all, as Edwards gets 3rd place. Rihanna next, and then it's McConkey and Zimmerman who are side by side. Zimmerman's made his way through this field quite nicely, actually, this group quite nicely since he joined it. 3 wide, is it? Very nearly. Oh, was that Lynn maybe having a look down the inside, or was that Ackland? I'm not sure, but there was certainly a look there. Rihanna then goes down the inside of Craig Edwards into turn 9 again. I mean, this will just never end, I suppose, into the final couple of corners. Trying to work out how many laps there might be to go. Might just be 4 or so, but this is just relentless. The gap to the lead continues to increase. This battle just continues to get closer and closer.
Yeah, by my timing, we do indeed have 4 laps to go. Look at the braking power, the braking performance of Jackson Rihanna there. Surprised he didn't lock that up. Craig Edwards will maintain his spot on the podium here, and he has a clear track ahead of him to try and take advantage. And also the benefit of McConkey now trying to get up the inside of Rihanna. Or is it the outside? It's definitely going to be the outside for Atwood at this rate, but man, it looks like Rihanna is going to hold on to it for the moment. Edwards runs wide, though. He's gone a bit deep into the corner. He recovers some momentum, though. The battle will continue again on the way down to the hairpin. We aren't even seeing the leaders in the same frame anymore.
No, that's how far they're getting away. That could be a grave error for Edwards, though, although he's done well to regain momentum. Through the middle, Brodie McConkey, very late on the brakes. Oh, too late! Too late on the brakes, he goes wide. Very nearly in the gravel there. Rihanna tries to just edge out Edwards through the hairpin as well. And here comes Zimmerman. He's not quite going to get past, but it'll be not far away. Oh! Contact! Contact as Rihanna gets down the inside of Edwards. And here comes Zimmerman again on the way to the hairpins. Goodness me, Edwards again tries to shut the door on Rihanna. It's starting to get a little bit feisty now, a little bit of contact starting to be made in this battle.
Joshua Lynn was at the back of this pack just a lap ago. Now he is challenging Edwards for 3rd. All it takes is 1 3-wide moment, a couple of small mistakes, some small slides, and you can take major advantage in these cars. That's why we love Formula Ford racing. It's magnificent. And now here comes Lynn. He got the slipstream down the front stretch. He'll have the outside into turn 1. Rihanna, by some miracle, is still in the thick of it here.
Absolutely. Somehow they all survive, and none of them have got any damage as a result of the slight contact being made. It was only slight contact, I suppose, but you know, after the fragility we've seen of these cars already tonight, you'd be very concerned about that. Is it 3 wide down the hill here through the S's? Whoa, 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 that was close. Rihanna comes down the side, there's contact! There finally is contact! It was coming at some point, and there has been down at the hairpin. It's not as bad as you might think. Brodie McConkey, the only one really to lose a lot of momentum, but he'll be out of the group. Oh my goodness, was that Rihanna just pushing Zimmerman out of the road there? It looked like it. And Lynn has also gone for the big spin there, but that was close on the way down towards this hairpin as well. I think it was Rihanna and Zimmerman anyway, who were very close together indeed. Edwards inside line again. And as the track gets wetter, this battle gets more difficult. Rihanna comes back on the circuit pretty dangerously, actually, straight in front of Ackland, who's now up to 6th place himself.
Solid recovery from Rihanna, though, once he got back onto the track. The contact at Atwood was between McConkey and Lynn. Unfortunately, they have fallen out of this fight. And so Craig Edwards, Henry Zimmerman and Jackson Rihanna are now the fighters for third there. Ackland continuing to be a sort of background actor in this magnificent stage play we are seeing, but he could come to the front of the stage, maybe dive into the audience if we're not careful. 2 laps to go. We still got this, and it's far from over. Massively deep under the brakes for all of them. I'm amazed they're getting on the brakes so late on a track that's continuing to deteriorate.
It is. It definitely seems to be having an effect. I just assumed that because the rain is sort of the lightest it could possibly be, it wouldn't have any effect, but that's not true. It's having some degree of an effect here tonight. There goes Zimmerman again. Outside line, it's quite deep and a bit wide. But will he be getting the place there? Is he going to box in Rihanna? Because there was definitely nearly contact between them last time. There might have actually been contact as well. He doesn't decide to box him in, though. Rihanna comes through the middle. 3 wide. Ackland watches on. He's not close enough to get involved even if he wanted to. Oh, they're squirming and they're braking now as well. Such is the wetness under floor now with the rain still falling. Here comes Zimmerman down the inside of Edwards again. Is this the chance for Rihanna to maybe get away before the last lap? Because it will be white flag when they next pass the pit lane.
Yeah, he'll be looking in his mirrors and I think breathing a sigh of relief there, because the exact thing he needs right now is for everyone behind him to start fighting with each other. He's more than earned his keep, I think, being involved in this fight as long as he has. Well then, Ryder and McCrohan will come around to begin the final lap, and we'll have this battle for third decided sooner rather than later. Still plenty of racing going on all through this field as they dip wheels into the gravel on the way out of the final corner. Biggest position gain is still Scott Bartine, but he has that penalty hanging over his head. Rihanna on the brakes again. You're right, he is squirming. That rear end isn't coping well with the wet track.
It's not at all. And we're seeing this across the board now, that these track conditions are getting a lot more difficult. I wonder how long of this rain you'd have to have before wet tyres start to become possible, because this rain came so late that the wet tyres were never going to be out anyway unless it was absolutely horrific. But this is getting difficult on the dries anyway. Edwards goes wide now. Zimmerman tries to come through the middle again. And he's going to get the space to do so as well from Edwards. He's almost had the red carpet rolled out for him there as he goes through the middle. 3 wide again. Rihanna's trying to just limit the damage, really, that Ryder and McCrohan are going to do to him in the championship here this afternoon. Oh, it's close. Inside again. Zimmerman round the outside trying to make it a max boost podium lockout. And he's on the inside here into the double left-hander. In fact, the next 3 are left-handers. And it looks like he's going to get the place in it. Edwards around the outside as well as Rihanna. Oh, he's on the curb. He's really close to a crash there. Really good car control, but he keeps it on the straight and narrow again. Zimmerman's still on the inside line. Rihanna has successfully fended him off, and Edwards actually is on the inside again. It looks like Zimmerman might lose a couple of places right at the very end here. As the 30 minutes elapses, the checkered flag will come out for Kane Ryder, who is going to win here tonight at Okayama. There he is. It's a max boost 1-2 as Kane Ryder beats Daniel McCrohan to the line. Ryder gets his second race victory of the season. Who's going to join him on the podium? Well, it will be Rihanna, with Edwards just ahead of Zimmerman by just 0.07 of a second.
Wow. Again, what a finish. Like, this series does finishes extremely well. That's what we love about it. Wow, fantastic race, and there's still battling going onto the line. Scott Pocock and David Gallo battling there and crossing the line basically side by side. Looks like only about 0.05 of a second between them. They have a 3-car fight coming up for 22nd. That's still a few moments away. Watch for them in the background. There they are. Madeline McGee, Dan Bartush and Dennis Hawkins fighting over 22nd place. And then the 4-car fight between Shihung Lee, Mitchell Campbell, Tony Baker, and we did have Daniel Byrne involved, but it looks like he's dropped away from the fight there. Oh, no matter where you are in the field, you have someone to race with, and what a race we got.
Absolutely. Fantastic race here from Okayama. Changed, of course, from the Alton Park Foster's layout, which I'm sure would have provided similar racing, but that was an extraordinary race, especially the battle for third place was quite something. There are still a couple of drivers to cross the line, actually. Tom Donahue actually doesn't look like he's going to cross the line on the circuit at all. He's coming to the pit lane. for the second time today, with a 30th place, unfortunately, for him. But rider Rihanna McCrohan, the top three in the championship, all on the podium tonight, and they will be battling for the title, I believe, next week, along with Brody McConkie, who might have a chance as well, although McConkie will lose some points with 7th. It's Kane Ryder who wins by 3/10 of a second in the end at Daniel McCrohan, with Jackson Riada in 3rd place. Craig Edwards in that group as well, with Henry Zimmerman not quite getting a podium. I mean, he was close to a podium, but finishes 5th in the end. Daniel Ackland involved there as well as Brody McConkie, and Vaughan Ryder, who really didn't have enough laps in that race for his liking. Joshua Lynn had that late spin, dropped to 9th ahead of Angus Milne, who rounded out the top 10 just ahead of Mitchell Albert. That was another close battle. Michael Scott was 12th ahead of Hugh McLaughlin, Anthony Bate and Marcus Knitska rounding out the top 15. Scott Pocock and David Gallo were close over the line as well, with Gottvar Tai watching on in the distance. Jackie Chung and Alexi Watson rounded out the top 20 in this race. You start to see some bigger gaps appearing down the back end of the field, by the way. 47 seconds off the lead for the 20th. Ash Williams up 10 places to 21st tonight, with not a big gap over the likes of Madeline McGee and Dan Bartush and Dennis Hawkins. Xing Li finishing in 25th, the last driver inside of that top 25, just behind Mitchell Campbell, Tony Baker and Daniel Bernal in that group. Peter Seidler, Jason Neal and Tom Donoghue rounded out those on the lead lap. Matt Tesorerio finished 1 lap down, John Lilly and Tristan McLaren 2 down, Mark Kelly 4 down, Chris Swadling, Mark Heppel, Ben Ryder retiring much earlier on in that race in the first half. Let's have a chat then, shall we, to some of those podium drivers, starting with Kane Ryder, who's won here tonight from Okayama. Kane, welcome in, congratulations on your second race victory of the season. A bit more comfortable, dare I say it, than the first one at VIR. Just tell us about your race and how comfortable you were towards the end of the race.
That worked pretty much as we planned. We hoped that one of them would fight Dan, and even Dan we didn't expect Dan to stay with me, but he did. So the plan was just to have Dan fall back a bit and fight for those guys and skip away. But with Dan, me and Dan, we could do that pace this time.
Yeah, absolutely, and what has this been for the championship? You should be about 49 ahead of your teammate Dan McCrohan. Jackson Rihanna should be about 30 behind-ish, very rough maths. But how comfortable are you with that sort of a gap going into the last race of the season, which is next week?
You can never be too comfortable with these cars because anything can happen, and it generally does. So, that one was one of the more easy races to get to. Generally, they're like the first two, where it's nose to gearbox racing. So I expect it to be very, very competitive next week. I'll take the
Yeah, it's a nice cushion to be sitting on, certainly. Kane, congratulations on the win tonight, your second of the season, and thanks for coming to chat to us at the end of the night as well.
No worries, guys. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Kane Ryder, the winner tonight from Okayama for Team Max Boost. It was a 1-2, Dan McCrohan finishing in second place. Dan, welcome in. Good to have you with us, and congrats on a 1-2 finish. You must be very pleased as a team to have locked out the front row and gone through right the way to the end of the race, still keeping those first 2 places.
Yeah, it was good for me and Kane to be able to probably show our true pace once we got that second gap off Jackson and the guys behind. But it was still hard work, and well done to Kane. He was setting the pace, and he's pretty bloody quick.
Certainly is. You'll drop now to nearly 50 points behind your teammate Kane Ryder now. Is it a case of protecting him for the championship? Is that going to be your role next week, or are you going to be going for it yourself?
No, I won't go for it. It actually still kind of blows me away. Kane's I think a 3-time state go-karting champion, and I've got no real-world experience whatsoever, so I'm just rapt to be able to keep up with these guys, to be honest.
Well, congratulations on keeping up with Kane tonight, very well indeed, and finishing just 3 tenths behind indeed. Congrats on second place, Dan, and thanks for chatting to us at the end of the night as well.
No worries, mate. Thank you.
Dan McCrohan, second place tonight in a Team Max Boost 1-2. ahead of Jackson Rihanna, who's probably had the most interesting evening of the podium drivers. Anyway, Jackson, welcome in. Good to have you with us. How would you even begin to describe that race for yourself?
It was an absolute war, mate. Thanks for having me again. It was, whole plan was, I guess, to stick with Kane and Daniel. Like, they've just been the class in the field the last 3 rounds. We got a bit racy, I think 3 or 4 laps in, and as soon as they sort of got a 1.5 second gap, it was like, okay, well, now we've got to actually try and work together to catch it back up. And as soon as that was clear that wasn't going to happen, it sort of just turned into all-out war. And after the race, all of us commended each other. It was really good, hard and fair racing, which is what we want to see.
Yeah, Craig Edwards just popped into our YouTube as well to say about what great fun it was to drive in, and I'll tell you it was great fun to watch as well from our point of view. In terms of the championship now, I don't know how much it is a feature of your thinking, but it's another podium, 3 in 3 for yourself, but because of Kane Ryder's results and the fact that you're not the only driver to have finished on the podium every round this season, you're 30 points behind him going into the final round at Navarra. How much of a feature of your thinking will that be going into next week, and how likely do you think it is you can take that championship lead off him right at the very end?
It feels like Super Formula Lights all over again with Mark Hilly. It's going to, all I can do really is just go out and try and win the race and see where Kane ends up. But I'm sure he's a very extremely classy driver, and he's got a very, very good team behind him. So I'm sure they'll be doing everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen. But it'll be tough next week. But just head down and try and stay with them early on in the race and see what we can do.
Absolutely, it's great to talk to you again after this race. Congrats on finishing in 3rd, and I'm sure we'll see you again next week.
Thanks, mate. I hope so.
Thanks very much. That's Jackson Rihanna finishes in 3rd place tonight in the penultimate round, can you believe it, of the Everything Simulated Formula 4 Recruitment Series. There's the race results again. I mean, Reece, all the races this season have been very good, but I'd maybe go as far as say that was probably the best of the bunch.
Yeah, absolutely. Summit Point, you weren't here for that last week. That was an absolute banger of a race. I think this is top. The sheer fighting that we saw for 3rd place, it shows how far these drivers are willing to go to get the results that they need, and I think we're going to be seeing more of that at Navarra next round. We're racing on the medium layout of that circuit. Basically, it's a couple of straights connected together by a few sharp corners, so if you like the slipstreaming battles today, you're going to be seeing more of the same next week for the finale.
Absolutely. It's an unusual circuit, and I think some of the drivers will have to do a little bit of work in the week to just get their head around it a little bit. But it will be an interesting round to have at that circuit. Very high speed indeed, actually. As you say, basically a couple of straights connected together in a slightly strange way. So we look forward to that again in 7 days' time. Obviously subject to post-race stuff and subject to my mathematics as well, but I think Kane Ryder will only need a top 4 next week to seal the title. I say only because he's finished in the top 2 in all 3 rounds so far. A win, a second and a win in 1, 2 and 3. It's been a very good season indeed from him, and it's him who wins tonight at Okayama. Big thanks to everyone who's been tuned in tonight, to Jordan and Jared behind the scenes here for this broadcast, to Reece alongside myself, Ewan O'Leary as well. It's goodbye from Okayama. Hope to see you again in 7 days' time at Navarra. Goodbye for now.